Hi there, this is Self-Critical Automaton, and welcome to episode 15 of my Let's Play of Resident Evil 4. So, yeah, continuing immediately after the end of that cutscene, I have a couple of questions, one of which is, why do developers think it's okay to have women in sexualized costumes all the damn time? I'm sure you know the answer to that. Another question is, not really a question either, but I love the audacity of wearing a flashbang on your face. It seems like the risk is not necessarily worth the reward of that one.
Welcome.
Also, again, this guy just gets everywhere.
What are you selling?
He's the world's fastest man with things to sell from a pervert coat.
Thank you.
So, I'm looking for one more gem to finish off that mask, and then I'll be done with it.
Is that all? Thank you.
But yeah, there's not tons to buy at this point. Mostly I just need to stock up again on first aid sprays, which are basically always worth buying whenever you find one. And then I think I'll just get the upgrades for the shotgun.
Thank you.
Is hit. There's probably a trap hop remix of this guy somewhere on the internet.
Come back any time.
Thank you, I will. I can't be bothered to read this. Oh no, I should. There seems to be a female intruder amongst us. We believe she's connected with Sarah. We also believe she was the one who removed the egg injected into Sarah before it hatched. She may have had him retrieve the sample before the American agent's arrival. It's obvious that her objective is the sample. We must get to her before she is able to re-establish contact with Sarah. There's also reason to believe that she's working for somebody. We need her alive for interrogation. The female should be able to answer all of our questions. After we have captured her, Sarah will no longer be of any concern. As long as we retrieve the sample, you may dispose of him as you see fit. So yeah, there's no indication as to who's leaving these messages for whom. The messages left earlier in the game were clearly for the village chief, but, well, he's dead. And even if he wasn't dead, he's a centipede. So, presumably they're being left for Salazar now, but, yeah. I'm just going to make a quick safety save. Anyway, the thing that really bothers me about Ada's outfit is that her alternate outfit. In case you're not aware, when you complete the game, you unlock alternative outfits for all the main characters that you can choose to use when you start a new game or on a New Game Plus. So, yeah, and in that, she actually has this really rad, like, tactical outfit that looks really cool. And I don't see why it was necessary to desert to cherish our remaining years. That's what that says. Bread begins the meal of life. So yeah, this seems like it would be part of the puzzle that's about to happen. Meet to savour the time at hand. One last drink and the bottle breaks, returning us to the dust from whence we came. So, like, this is really strange. This is a puzzle that clearly was mostly removed, but not entirely, for no real reason. So you read those four things, then you come over here and you see a painting, and it's like, okay, clearly what it wants me to do is shoot them in the order that it said. So bread, meat, dessert, wine. But if you shoot any of those, it resets the puzzle and goes like, meh, you failed. What you actually need to do is just shoot the wine. I don't know if this was like something that was supposed to be completed and they didn't have time before the game was released, so they just only coded in a quarter of the puzzle. But it seems like such a strange thing not to finish, like such a small element. So I find myself wondering a great deal again. Anyway, so yeah, that's stuff. Also at this point I find myself beginning to notice something that wasn't that obvious in the earlier sequences. Okay. There we go. That door leads back to where we were earlier. We'll probably come back through it later, but I'm just grabbing all this stuff now in case I need it. Oh, snake. You know, I did a test episode before this one. I really should have remembered that there was a snake. It's been like 5 minutes since I last got bitten by that snake. But yeah, it's not so obvious throughout the village and the like cliffside areas, but yeah, also just a hole into the infinite void. But this game suffers from a problem that really bothers me a lot in games in general, which is just kind of like a design flaw, where you get, also I like that, you know, I very clearly was not in the cage when it came down. So, I guess I'll talk about said design flaw after I deal with this guy, because he's tough. And I'm in a very small room with him. It's not really a room technically, but whoa, fuck. So yeah, worth noting, those guys can just one-hit kill you, no matter what. So yeah, that happened. I guess I will not bother to re-grab all of that stuff I grabbed. You know, either I can handle this or I can't, and I'll need to come back through this area later anyway, so that was the wrong way. So I guess I'll just head straight in and see what I can do. But yeah, it's a real pain to fight that guy in such an enclosed space, because you really can't distract him. And of course, all the other guys can still hit you just fine. So I'm going to try and take advantage of him being on fire to just finish off these other guys. And just spin in little circles, that's fine too. Ah, I managed to hit 2 of them with that one, that was good. So if I can just... What I need to do is make his horrible parasite come out, so... I'm not entirely sure how to do that in this situation. So yeah, I'm going to be quiet because this is hard. Come on, smile for me. Is he dead? He's dead. Fantastic. All it took was a tiny bit of focus. So yeah, now that he's finished off, I can just freely blast away all these guys. Again, he does not dissolve the way the others do. Christ. I think that is a level 3 parasite. That might be the first one. Unless it is a level 2. Nope, it's level 3. Fucking hell. So yeah, the third stage of the parasite is able to leave its host and move autonomously once the host is dead. Which is just extremely gross. And that's all of them. You can tell because the music stopped being tense. This game really has no interest in building tension the way a horror game kind of ought to. You kind of just, Is that? Okay, well that's not working. But yeah, you kind of just, You always know whether you're safe or not, because the game is completely happy to tell you via musical cues that you are safe or unsafe. Which is just odd because, you know, horror games since have done such a great job of learning to build tension through that sort of thing, and through ultimately subverting that sort of thing. Use musical cues to build tension and a concept of whether you're safe or not, and then subvert it later on. But yeah, so as I was saying, and conveniently looking at the map here, evidences this a bit more. Evidences, I don't know. Basically, there's no sense of this castle as a physical location in its own right. If you look at the map, all of these corridors are just floating in the void. There's no real sense of a place. all of the corridors on the map are represented by doors. There are no doors that don't lead into places on the map. So, why would there be a castle with all this inexplicable dead space in between the walls? Or in between corridors and things that clearly aren't, you know, like, big thick castle walls or whatever. It really bothers me, and so many games make this... Well, it's not really a mistake, it's an issue of deciding between clarity for the player's benefit or providing the sense of a realistic place. You know, and excuse me. Basically, a lot of games will disguise the fact that, in a literal game coding sense, it is just a bunch of corridors floating in the void. And they disguise that by having, for example, fake doors or blocked passageways, that sort of thing. And people legitimately complain a whole bunch about, you know, there's this game with all these doors, why can't I open any of them except the proper fancy doors that are the actual doors that I can open? And yeah, I can forgive that personally, because the reason why that's done is to give an impression of a more realised place that exists in its own right. And the alternative is, of course, to... Wonder what could be waiting for me on the other side of that door. Actually, no, I should probably use this. That's the one I've got the most spare ammo for. Oh, it's locked. Okay. Or is it? I mean, that's normally the reaction it has when there's a lock on it, but normally the game will tell you this door is locked. You have to open it from the other side or whatever, so... Not sure what's up with that. Anyway, yeah. I personally prefer the trade-off that is... losing a little bit of clarity for the player, as in, you can tell that the doors are or aren't real, in exchange for being able to machine gun some priests. No, that's not what I mean. In exchange for having a greater sense of just a realistic place. And the devs of this game were of the opinion that it was better to not mislead the player about where they can and can't go. Speaking of which... I'm sorry, were you using those? I live for the moments where the baddies in this game lose their heads and then their pre-existing AI continues to act. Like that guy who span around in a circle earlier. I love it when that happens. Was there another guy? Nope, he's dead. So yeah, there's only one way for me to go here since that door's locked. Or barred or something. Normally it would say, but... Anyway... Yeah, it's kind of a problem that doesn't really have a solution since, you know, both sides are relevant, but I feel like if you're going to present a place as big and strange as this, it should feel like a real place. So, here we have... Oh my god, he's actually set up a full shop counter here, I love that.
What are you selling?
He's like an 8-year-old playing shop. Do 8-year-olds still do that? They must do. I'm not sure I can sell that one, actually. So, let me see. Yep, nothing to add.
What are you selling?
It's also interesting that I can come talk to this guy even though I'm still in a combat encounter. He never really interacts with any of the Ganados. I don't think they're even willing to walk into the areas that he is in.
Is that all? Thank you.
But frequently you do get, ooh.
Not enough cash, stranger.
Well, I know what I'm saving up for. So yeah, I'm not going to buy a rocket launcher because that would be absurd.
What are you buying?
The mine launcher can be pretty useful, but I don't usually tend to buy it unless I feel like I need to. So, before I move on to what is clearly the next zone, I'm just going to head back and try and finish off all these guys. I think there might even be another big machine gun nest around here somewhere. Am I hitting? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is the other reason why one does not buy a rocket launcher there. Now, I might have to do a little bit of inventory Tetris to try and make this work, but, you know, I definitely want to keep it. Okay, it'll fit in there. Not least because I will actually need to use a rocket launcher later on. I think there is only one free rocket launcher in the entire game, and it's this one. And, there is one incredibly difficult boss that I've never really bothered to fight properly. I think I've only beaten him once properly in my life. But he's vulnerable to rocket launchers, and if you rocket launcher him, he will just die in one hit. That's probably true of most of the bosses, but I haven't thought to check. So yeah, I like that they have this fancy gun safe. Well, not gun safe, a big display case. What are you keeping it? Rocket launcher. You guys have all this ammunition anyway. Do you have any guns? No, just rockets. So yeah, also, again, weird decisions with regards to spaces seeming like or unlike real spaces. This, incidentally, is a replication of a real painting. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I did not do an art history degree. Although I probably should have at some point. Yeah, so I think it's something to do with Plato? I'm sure someone can tell me in the comments. Anyway, that all being dealt with, it's time to move on. There's no real reason for that area, it's just that it has a little rocket launcher for you in case you were feeling short on rocket launchers. But the oh, cutscene time.
Leon,
Have you been following me the entire time? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Please tell me that's his tail.
Now that I have the sample, you serve me no purpose.
Sadler!
My boy Salazar will make sure you follow the same fate.
Stay with me, Lois. I am a researcher, hired by Sadler. He found out what I was up to.
Don't talk.
Here. It should suppress growth of the parasite. The sample. Sadler took it. You have to get it back. Lois! Lois!
The world will not see his like again. But yeah, so it seems that Lewis no longer is. He Lewisn't. I'm going to call that the end of this episode, I guess. Sorry to end on such a downer note. But I'll catch you later. Bye.